Okay, moving right along to our next story, we are going to be talking about one of the animated features that's going to be coming out this summer, and of course I am talking about Teen Titans Go to the Movies. I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there that are really excited to see the release of this feature film, but apparently Warner Brothers Animation actually made a big announcement regarding a particular actor that's going to be appearing in the film, and it has a lot of people talking, but not necessarily for the reasons that you may think. And the person that I'm talking about, of course, is actually going to be Nicolas Cage, in which he is going to be playing the role of Superman in Teen Titans Go. Now, this announcement actually came right at the same time when Warner Brothers Animation also revealed that there are going to be some cameos from some singers as well, some singers and songwriters, including Halsey as Wonder Woman and Lil Yachty as Green Lantern. I hope I actually say their names correctly. I am actually pretty well known to mispronounce some names, so if I did mispronounce them, then I do apologize. So, basically, that is the big thing with it. And on top of that, Nicolas Cage and Halsey and Lil Yachty, they will be joining alongside the cast that will consist of Will Arnett and Kristen Bell, whom her role has actually been revealed to be playing as the director that wants to give the Teen Titans their next big break in terms of a movie. And of course, it will feature the cast from the original hit animated series on Cartoon Network, which includes Scott Menville, Carrie Payton, Hayden Walsh, Greg Sipes, and of course, Tara Strong. Now, what's very interesting to note about this news in particular is that the reason why people are really talking about this, the reason why this was pretty big news, is not necessarily because of Nicolas Cage joining Teen Titans Go to the Movies. It's not really the factor of the movie itself that's making the news. It's actually because people view this as a second chance for Nicolas Cage. A second chance to actually be Superman. Now, some of you might be wondering, what the fridge am I talking about? What do I mean in particular that this is Nicolas Cage's second chance to be Superman? Well, let me send you back in time about 20 years ago, approximately, in the mid-1990s, when Nicolas Cage was supposed to be the star for a big budget version of Superman, or kind of like a reboot of Superman that Warner Brothers really wanted to make, which was called Superman Lives. And there's a very fascinating history with Superman Lives. Originally, it was supposed to be directed by Tim Burton, in which he was supposed to do, to Superman, like what he did with Batman back in 1989 and with Batman Returns. And it went through many different versions of the script, and I do believe the last one was actually done by Kevin Smith. But 3 weeks before they would start filming, Warner Brothers decided to ultimately cancel the project. And it really is unfortunate because everybody who was working on the film, they were really prepping things up, getting a script ready, also trying to test out Nicolas Cage as Superman, trying out his costume, seeing how it would look and all that kind of stuff, but ultimately it never really happened. But this is one of those canceled projects that people were really fascinated about. They were highly intrigued with this Superman Lives, so much so that a documentary was actually made called The Death of Superman, What Happened, that was released a few years ago, which even included some interviews from Kevin Smith and Tim Burton. And I think it was actually a Kickstarter campaign that really got successful, and which is why it ultimately got made. And if you guys haven't seen The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, I highly recommend you do so. It really is an interesting look into the making of this movie and how it ultimately not happened. But there is one thing that I must warn you about that project, though, is that I don't think you're going to take Nicolas Cage seriously as Superman when you see those pictures. I'm not dissing the guy or anything, but it's just that he doesn't have a face that says Superman. And when you look at the pictures of him, in his Superman costume and with long flowing black hair, it just looks like one of those pictures that you would find on social media where you would take a random picture of a character or a celebrity and you would just randomly slap Nicolas Cage's face on it. It's just weird. And what's even weirder is that when you look into some of the archived footage or even some of the old pictures, there are some of them where Nicolas Cage doesn't even have the long flowing hair. It's just him with the regular, like, balding-ish hair where, like, you could see a lot of his forehead, but it doesn't necessarily count as being bald. And honestly, it just looks absolutely ridiculous. It looks like a head swap, like, onto something else. No pun intended. It looks like something out of Face Off that, like, apparently some kind of Face Off spin-off where Nicolas Cage's character just wants to replace his face with Superman, and now Superman has to go flying around with Nicolas Cage's face. But yeah, honestly, when I first heard about the news, going back into Teen Titans Go to the Movies, when I first heard about the news that they brought in Nicolas Cage onto this, one of the things that it made me thought was way back when I first heard about this project, and it made me think that they really are going for a promise that I wanted them to do. And the promise that I said that I want them to go and not hold back onto the craziness. For the filmmakers of Teen Titans Go to the Movies, I want them to have whatever idea that they have, like whatever crazy plot that they would do for this movie in particular, to not hold back and to crank up the craziness onto 11. Like, maybe it'll turn out highly entertaining and enjoyable, or maybe it could turn out so bad it's good. Just make it crazy to the point that it's going to be a wild ride no matter what. And when I heard that they would bring in Nicolas Cage onto the movie, it really does sound like they are delivering on that promise, and hopefully we will see something crazy out of Nicolas Cage. Like, one thing that I would love to see coming from this movie is if for some reason they would have Nicolas Cage just be like how he is at the start of Face Off, where he's just acting completely bonkers, and just do that for Superman. Just go all out and be crazy with it. That would actually be a lot of fun to see. But then again, considering of what the plot is about, and if I may read through my source here at CBR.com, if you want to hear a little bit of what the story is about. In Teen Titans Go to the Movie, Robin realizes superheroes have received films before they have. Furious at this injustice, he takes the other Titans to Hollywood in the hopes of getting their big screen treatment they deserve. So from there, I wouldn't be surprised if that might not be what they want to do with Superman and with Nicolas Cage. Like, honestly, in terms of the plot, and I can understand if they would go with this, is if they would have Nicolas Cage be more straightforward, try to be more serious with his role, considering that with Superman, yeah, like, he is one of the biggest icons in DC history, so he would be the one that would be more straightforward, the guy who has, like, a whole bunch of movies under his mantle, so who knows how they could go with it. But then again, there is a possibility that they could actually go into the route where they would do a satire onto the DC cinematic universe. So they could really poke fun at Superman. Like, he's going to get a few beatings in himself. And I don't mean that literally. I mean, like, just a lot of disses, considering the quality that was released with movies such as Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice and Justice League. I can pretty much guarantee you there is a very good chance that we might even get like a CGI joke about removing his mustache. Like, that could possibly happen as well. But what's actually very interesting is that when I do see the reactions to how people see this, is that they are being pretty hopeful, and that maybe they could even do a joke related to Superman Lives, considering that they do have Nicolas Cage as the Superman that was going to be Superman but wasn't, that maybe they could do some kind of related joke onto that. And maybe, if they could pull it off and they could do it well, then I would highly encourage it. But honestly, we would just have to wait and see. I mean, the only thing that we have seen from Teen Titans Go to the Movies is just the teaser trailer, and already that one is just being bombarded by haters because they want nothing more but to have the franchise to be dead, and that's pretty much it. So, honestly, I don't know how it's going to come out with Nicolas Cage as Superman and Teen Titans Go to the Movies, but it is honestly a very interesting casting choice, and already I am actually seeing a lot of people that are changing a little bit of their attitude towards Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Like, of course, there's a whole bunch of people that are nagging and complaining, saying that, oh, it's gonna be the next cancer of animation, it's the next Hitler of animation, oh, this is gonna be the next Emoji Movie, and all that stupid bullcrap, and, you know, like, you'll see a lot of those dumb comments whenever the subject of the Emoji Movie, not the Emoji Movie, but I mean, like, whenever the subject of Teen Titans Go the Movies brought up. But considering that they did bring in Nicolas Cage onto this, like, you are seeing a lot of people that are changing their attitude a little bit, and now they're being intrigued, and they are willing to actually pay a ticket to go and actually see Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which is honestly very interesting. I know I'm going to do it regardless, like, even if it is for the purpose of reviewing or whatever, I just want to see, like, the madness that would possibly ensue in Teen Titans Go to the Movies. So, honestly, yes, I am one of the very few people out there that's actually very excited to see how this movie is going to come out. So, I'm definitely rooting for it. Not rooting for it as much as The Incredibles 2, but definitely one of the not miss movies for me of this summer. So, if you guys are interested to see what Nicolas Cage has in store as Superman, and if you are interested in checking out Teen Titans Go to the Movies, then all you have to do is wait until July 27th for the Teen Titans big premiere on the big screen.